Starting point guard rankings for the 2023-24 season coming up. We'll start at number 1 and we'll work our way down. Number 1. Okay, but before we do that, do you guys have Luka and James Harden as point guards?
Yes.
I do. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I had Luka as a small forward a year ago, and I got literally destroyed on Twitter for it. And I was like, guys, he gets guarded by small forwards. He guards small forwards. He's 6'8". I get
Steph
it.
gets guarded by Jared Vanderbilt. You just throw the best defenders at the guys. Sometimes.
Because
he's a forward that runs point. Kind of like LeBron.
He's a point forward,
Even when you talk about the people that guard him, sometimes you just run your best defender against those guys. And big wings are just normally the best defenders on the guys.
And then they hide him on defense. That's why he's not guarding point guards.
Yeah.
I do count him as a point guard. So number 1 is Stephen Curry.
No objections. He had one of the best playoff runs we've seen in recent years a year ago. And this year he had 50 points in Game 7. He's quite clearly the highest ceiling raiser in this group. And he's the only point guard to win a championship as the number 1. Jamal Murray just has, of course. But Steph Curry not only has a case of being a top 10 player of all time, he is arguably the best player at the position ever, still in his prime, which is remarkable at 35. Yeah. Number 2, if we're including Luka, would clearly be him. While Steph is the highest ceiling raiser, I think Luka is the highest floor raiser where, in most years he would make you an automatic playoff team. Not this year, unfortunately, but he is a one-man offense. That to be honest, though, him being a one-man offense is to his own detriment because he is less effective when he is without the ball in his hands. Nothing wrong with that, but it's quite a cause for concern that we don't know if he can adapt.
I think that's why the best guy for him on that roster as a second scorer is Kyrie, because Kyrie's so damn efficient and so good as a scorer at that guard spot that it's not a situation where it's like, damn, why don't you have the ball in Luka's hands? It's like Kyrie's pretty good at this shit too. So if somebody's gonna have the ball, that's not Luka. It's maybe Kyrie's better. Maybe Kyrie is the guy.
But that duo will never work. But yes, Luka Doncic is the second best.
That's some hater stuff. Hater.
It's not hated. It's not gonna freaking work.
If you build a quality roster of 3-and-D wings, that would work.
Okay.
Well, let's see what they can do.
You're a hater too? What do we
Not
do?
really. I don't think three. I think they need one 3-and-D wing, but
nobody's a hater, John.
I think the thing they need the most is a big that can protect the rim and be a lob threat.
All right, but number 3 is
like Jackson Hayes.
Okay, let's just keep the ranking. Let's keep
number 3.
Dame.
Jay. Oh, you got Dame.
What the hell?
Wait, Jay,
Dame.
Jay who?
I heard shit. Damn.
Oh, Shay?
He said Shay.
Hey.
Dame just came off the best season of his career. You got Shay?
You just said Dame Lillard was the first team All-NBA player a couple months ago.
Yeah, I did.
This is crazy.
Shay,
I got Dame. I got Dame at 3.
Woo! Winning means nothing to John Tortorelli, I guess.
Because Dame has won a lot the last 2 years.
Well, he was injured.
Well, Shea is a pretty good playoff player too. We've seen it twice now.
I love Shea, but it's getting to the point where people are just putting him in so many different conversations right now that he's gonna get to the point where I'm just not gonna like some of the rankings anymore. Cause like he's really good, but like bro hasn't won a damn thing, bro. Like let's okay.
Most people expected the Thunder to be a bottom 3 team this season.
I understand that, John.
One game away from they're literally just one. Actually, it's 2 games away.
Hey, John. Let me ask you something. Why did they lose that game?
Yeah. Shea.
Let's stop bringing up the plane like it's a successful, like you just said, they were a plane.
It shouldn't even exist.
Actually squat to me, okay? That means
I get it. Dame is one of the best pull-up shooters, one of the best
scorers, shot creators.
If in a world where Steph Curry does not exist, he is
Dame is the greatest shooter of all time.
But Shea is a wing at the point guard position that just averaged 31 points per game and single-handedly carried an Oklahoma City offense with no spacing really at all. No Chet Holmgren.
Hey, respect Josh Giddey.
A lot of people love Josh Giddey. He can't shoot for shit. Let's just be honest. And you look at that roster outside of Isaiah Joe and
Shea can't shoot for shit outside of 20 feet
really
anyway.
Isn't much spacing. But yet Shea, because of how great an inside scorer he is, has just I think a higher floor than most guards in this group because he can get ugly. His ability to finish around the rim. While the percentages don't back
We
it
saw
up.
what that floor looks like, John. It's not a high floor.
Well, let's be fair now. He's carrying a team that really had no business being in the playing tournament to a very high note. What he can do around the rim with his improved mid-range game, I know he's not a great three-point shooter, only took 2.5 attempts per game, but all of the other things inside the arc makes him an unstoppable player. Like, what is the gap between Luka and Shai? Luka, better playmaker, but Shai, a better defender. I think Shai's more malleable to play off the ball, and given how good he's
in the Western Conference Finals.
Given how good Shai was as a number 2 and a number 3 with the Clippers as a rookie, then the Thunder as a sophomore, I am all in on his game translating to the next stage as a complementary or primary guard.
People are saying give me Shai over Dame. If you're building a team now, yes, I'm taking Shai over Dame because Shai's 25.
If Shai dominates next postseason, you will not be surprised because he has done it as a secondary complement and he has gotten so much better in each of the last 3 years. He also was injured in 2021. And in 2022, and now in 2023, his first fully healthy year in Oklahoma City. Well, actually, his second.
We're only at 3 right now, bro. Let's keep going with the rankings.
We're only where I am shade in my list.
11 free throw attempts, 90% from the foul line. If his 3-point shot develops, we're talking about him the same way we're talking about Luka.
Okay. Disagree. Listen, it's only one spot, John. It's 3 and 4, bro. It's only 3 and 4. It's not like we have him at 9.
I don't have 4. I don't have.
Okay, you're drunk, but still, come on.
I'm not drunk. I was gonna say,
but it's only 3 and 4.
This is one thing that I'll always usually take a guy who can shoot the lights out over a guy who can't. So Damian Lillard, I have ranked higher than him.
Okay, then who do you have? Who do you have? Okay. Then you say you rather take a guy shoot the lights out. Then I'm gonna be. Who do you have a 4? Who do you have a 4?
I have a guy who I've been really high on. I already know I'm gonna get hate for it. I have Jamal Murray at 4.
I knew that was coming. Why are we? Listen, I love Jamal, but why do we keep doing this with guys that are number 2s? Guys that are number 2s, bro.
He's not the best Kentucky guard. He's the 3rd best Kentucky guard, maybe, not the 1st best.
Come on, why would we do this with guys that are number 2s, bro? I get it. He's okay. Go ahead.
Okay, well, you asked a question, so I'm trying to explain. I get he's a number 2, right? I fully understand that. But what I guess I'm going off of is I do believe Jamal Murray can be a 1. That's really where my belief comes from, is that I do truly do. I think his skill set is 4. I think Jamal Murray is easily a 27, 28 point per game scorer. He can average 8.5 assists a game. He just did a 50-49er in the Western Conference Finals. I do think this guy has. I get it. But he's still okay. You want Nikola Jokic? All right. Where was the run with Nikola Jokic when Jamal Murray wasn't there then? Like, I said this to John. Nikola Jokic is the best player in the world.
There's no way.
Listen to the words. Nikola Jokic is the best player in the world. He is the best player on the Denver Nuggets. But what makes the Nuggets special is the duo of Jamal and Nikola Jokic.
Yes, he's one of the best number 2s in the game. But guess what? You know what a team with Jamal as their number 1 is doing? Picking in the lottery. Picking in the damn lottery.
You know what, Brent? Jamal Murray has developed into a complete guard, an elite shot maker, a guy that at his worst is still able to impact the game as a passer. My God. That being said, we haven't seen him in that type of environment as number 1. But when he was out, it wasn't that the Nuggets were missing Jamal Murray. It was that the Nuggets were missing Jamal Murray, and he was being replaced by
Monte Morris,
Bryn Forbes, Austin Rivers, and Monte Morris.
And
so
Facu
Campazzo. So he can make it back to the league. We'll see. He was starting playoff games for a Nugget team that went to the second round of the playoffs 2 years ago. So you went from Jamal Murray to the damn Blazers. Monte, Facu, Rivers, Bryn Forbes. You can't even see him. So, like, yes, he changed the entire game for the Nuggets, but you got to recognize how easy it is to play off Nikola Jokic too.
Also, who did they lose to? You lost to the eventual champions, bro. Like, come on.
And Romain, to that point, they took that eventual champ to 3 straight games down the wire in 3, 4, and 5. Yeah. On their home floor, they almost beat the Warriors in both games. That series could have went to 6. And if you put in let's say you put in a top 15, say you put in Tyrese Halliburton, I think the Nuggets can make that series easily 7 games. And in this playoff run, you put in a lot of different guards. While Jamal Murray is a fantastic player and his return from the ACL was incredible, I think the case against him is just you plug in 17 different point guards, and Nikola Jokic could win a championship because of how deep the position is. It's not a shot at Jamal. It's just, hey, look, you're playing off the
You put
most
Jalen Brunson in that
valuable
position,
star
he's
in
doing
the
what
game.
Jamal just did.
Think Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan could
yeah.
dominate with Patty Mills dropping 38 points per game, or Manu, or Tony Parker. It's a similar story with Jokic where, hey, look, Jamal's an incredible player. Same with
Manu
Manu
and Tony are Hall of Famers, my guy.
Well, yeah, I'm just pointing out the fact a Patty Mills can come in and with
Yeah,
Tony,
I get it.
Tim
But here's the thing.
top 30,
Yeah.
and they can still thrive in the playoffs,
Yeah.
even when Manu's hand in his late ages. So
Okay,
that's
yeah,
where
but
I'm
I think we can also agree that Jamal Murray is not a Patty Mills. Like Jamal Murray is also special. Like that's why I think this.
We're not saying he's special, but we're just saying
okay.
that
So then this is where we differ, right? Is that I nobody has argued that Nikola Jokic makes the game a lot easier to play with. I totally agree with that. When Romain asked me how do you I said my belief is Jamal Murray can also be a 1. I do truly believe that.
But what
That's
has he
where my
done that
belief
showed
comes from. I think
but-
he's that special. I do truly do believe.
Okay,
think he's
I understand that, but you have
special.
to have something to back up some of those beliefs. And what has Jamal Murray? Jamal Murray's never been in a position to be a 1 in the first place.
I get it. I can't prove to you because Nikola Jokic has been his teammate the entire time. But what I can show to you is what he's doing also individually. And I understand it's off of Nikola Jokic. That's all I can point to. That's it. Like it's the same thing with. I know it's not on the same level as a Jaylen Brown, but people believe that Jaylen Brown could have been a number 1, right? You believe
that's another team
prove to it because obviously, if you ask me to prove it, how can I prove that when you know that I can't because I don't? There's no evidence. A belief is something that can be proven but hasn't been.
Here's the counter argument. Romain, we talk about quarterbacks on the channel. We always rank them, right? And there's sometimes really great quarterbacks that, hey, look, we kind of have a clear idea. I'm blanking on a name here. Jalen Hurts is not better than Patrick Mahomes. He may play better in the Super Bowl. He's got a lot more supporting talent and a better offensive line inherently.
That's my argument.
So we're not going to say, oh, I believe Jalen Hurts, he's going to hit that stage. He hasn't shown it to me yet where he can play and he can outplay Mahomes, but I just know based off one, and that's a bad example. It truly is because.
So wait, John. Actually, no. Wait, I got you. You can have a good example. You can have a good example. Where do you have Jalen Hurts ranked in the top 10 in the quarterbacks in the league right now?
Like 7 or 8.
Yeah. Is he so? And then. So then, can he be on the level of a Josh Allen then?
Yes, he can. I think
that's what I'm saying.
So below. Yeah. This is what I want to actually get at. To me, that was an awful.
Oh yeah, we just wanted a quick list, but we're only at 4, and it's been 15 minutes.
You think Jamal Murray is special, right? He became the highest player when you look at the best playoff performers relative to the regular season, he averages 16 points per game in the regular season, 25 in the playoffs. His efficiency, shot versatility, and confidence, he breathes fire. He's a special number 2. And I think that is what is kind of disguising the fact he's not built to be number 1 because he's not an elite playmaker. In the finals, first player to ever drop 10 assists in 4 straight games. But that was because the Heat were straight up double teaming Jamal and leaving Nikola Jokic open on pick and pop threes. They were making him be a decision maker, and he was making the right read. A good decision maker.
Why?
But I don't think.
Why? Because why were they doing that? Why were they selling out Jamal Murray? Because the way to beat the Nuggets is not to stop Jokic because he's unstoppable. And I said that best player in the world. The way to stop the Nuggets is you have to stop Jamal Murray. That's what makes the duo so special. Thank you. That's what I'm. But again, we're gonna go round and round circle. I believe what I believe. You guys believe what you believe. Let's move on to number 5.
On a side note, I had Dame at 4, and I have John Moran at 5.
Also, pick a side meme. I don't know who that is. I never said Shea can't be a number 1, so I don't know where he got that from.
Yeah, I got
side meme. Santos, all-time pick a side legend. I'm happy to see Santos in the chat.
I never said that.
Shout out Dame. Shout out Darren. We got AJ before. We got a lot of people in here, so I appreciate you guys.
I got Dame. I got Shea at 4 and Ja at 5, but I have Dame at 3. So same order, just Dame and Shea flipped.
Yeah, I have Ja at 5.
I think the case for Morant, unlike a Jamal, is that he's already proven himself as number one to also be an elite playoff performer. This postseason, he got hurt, still dropped 6 threes it was in their game 3 loss versus the Lakers, where he's just raining it in. Ja inherently isn't the most malleable player to play alongside, but he is one of the best slashers. And because of how good he's games the rim, similar to Shea, he's an opponent's, outside of Anthony Davis's worst nightmare. And he can open up so many opportunities for shooters for driving kicks. It's unfortunate the Grizzlies don't know how to build around him. And also, he does some things off the court too, which are really stupid. That kind of is unfortunate.
And not just Anthony Davis. Put Bam in that boy and watch what he does. Exactly.
I do want to mention real quick that I should have said this from the beginning. That 4 to 7 for me are kind of in this like similar tier for me. So
I mean,
starting with Jamal, Ja, and then my number, and then let's go to number 6. I know this is gonna get a lot.
Number 6.
My list was gonna get so much.
Number 6 is kind of a tosser for me because it's between Jamal, De'Aaron, and Jalen Brunson between those spots right there.
What happened to Trae Young?
Trae Young, it's the fact that all these guys, Trae Young produces more offensively than a lot of those guys, but just the negative defensively that he is just so fucking.
Every point guard's negative. What point guards are negatives? Drew Holiday. Do you have Drew Holiday in your top 10 because he's an awesome defender?
Hell no.
Is Marcus Smart in your top 14?
No, but those guys don't produce offensively close to anything these guys can.
But Trae is like really bad. Like he's like probably one of the worst defenders in the league.
But does that matter if your point guard's a terrible defender?
It really does matter. I mean, that's what you tell me. Why
we've seen what terrible point of attack defense does to the Hawks, does to teams like the Utah Jazz all the damn time. He's literally the crux of that terrible point of attack defense.
But it wasn't just that the Jazz had no point of attack guard. Both their guards weren't defending. They were both turnstiles. Trae Young at that position, if he's going to single-handedly make you a top 10 offense, which this year he didn't, the personnel is not good around him. And you can put around him the Clint Capellas, the quality, the wing defenders that will be carried by him offensively. And if they're going to support him defensively, if there's any position you can get away with having a bad defender, it is the point guard spot. And I don't think that should totally dismerit Trae Young when Jamal Murray was not good this postseason defensively. He was simply the worst Nuggets defender at all times. So I'm lower on Trae Young than most people, but I didn't think people were this low. He's out to the top 7.
All right, then I'll slip him into the spot that Jalen Brunson should be in, then slip Jalen Brunson down a little bit. I think I would still have Jamal De'Aaron. I would still have Jamal and De'Aaron over him though.
So Roman, your 6 is Jamal or De'Aaron? Jamal. Okay.
Over Trae Young?
Huh?
Jamal over Trae Young.
Yeah. I'd take a high-level number 2 that can win consistently over a number 1 that really hasn't done much outside of one.
Jamal Murray isn't a turnover machine, also like a Trae Young.
Right. Well,
I mean, every high-level guard that has that type of ball response.
Chris Paul.
Huh? I'm talking about guards. Okay, that's one point guard. That's a top 5. That's a top 3 guard talent ever.
Well,
like it's very different than when you pick guys that are the complete top. Right now, I would my view of it right now, John, is I'd rather take a number 2 that can play at that high level and help you win consistently. Because I think Trae Young is number 2 than number 1. You're not gonna win with him as a number 1.
That's fine.
And I'd take a high level number 2 that shows you can win consistently over a number 1 that shows that they can't win.
Yeah. So wait, John, do you want to give your number 6 or because mine's gonna be controversial?
Because Trae has made the playoffs, but all he's made the playoffs has done is get waxed by the Heat, get waxed by the Heat. Get gifted by Philadelphia that conference finals berth and then get waxed again by the Celtics outside of one game.
To be fair to Trae, you saw what he did to the Celtics. That was awesome.
Okay, but the Celtics are also, you saw what we did to the Celtics. The Celtics don't move me.
I understand, but
plus every single elite guard talent was waxing the Celtics ever since the finals.
Trae Young has dismantled a Joel Embiid led team. He's nearly taken the Celtics.
It's not that hard to do that.
Like the Celtics, they've been to the finals. There were 2 games. You may not be high in the Celtics. They're 2 games away from winning a championship. And Trae Young nearly took them to 7 games in the first round. And again, this is not coming from a Trae Young defender. I'm not a fan of his game.
That wasn't the
but
same
I have
team,
to appreciate
though.
what he has still accomplished.
I mean, that's not the same team though. That was 2 games. That's the Celtics team he beat was the Celtics team that.
You're right. It wasn't the same team.
That was
better because Derek White got
no.
better.
They were not better.
They
were not better. They were not better. You will not convince me that Celtics team that Celtics team was better than 2022. You will not convince me of that.
Okay,
at all.
Robert Williams was better, but generally speaking, that was a very good team I had still.
Yes, I'll give you that. He's able to take, but taking team to 6 games in the first round isn't going to move me versus a guy that just won a chip as an elite number 2 that's putting up similar numbers as Trae Young as a number 1.
And playing better defense and not turning the ball over at an insanely high rate.
Okay, well, the turnover stuff. If Jamal Murray
he's adding that other
but
stuff.
But it's a compounding thing, John. If you're playing one of the worst defenders in the entire league and you're turning the ball over at an insanely high rate, that's not. I don't like that.
He's not. The Hawks have been one of the most turnover-free teams in the league the last couple of years.
What about him individually? Isn't he not top 5 in turnovers this year?
Yeah, but if my point guard's going to have all the turnovers and my team is going to be...
Since he's the only one handling... Especially since he's the only one handling the ball. I agree with John here. He's the only one handling the ball.
Is John Morant up there? Is Jalen Brunson up there?
The league average for turnovers per game is about 14.5. The Hawks average less than 13 because that's third best in the league. Trae Young runs the offense, and given he has 70 touches a game and he is the offense, 4 turnovers in the grand scheme of things is not much at all. It's pretty good. Really damn good. In fact, a lot of our turnovers come when Trae's off the floor. So I actually think in some ways you could use that as a positive. Trae Young's heliocentric play limits turnovers, while the stat sheet may say, oh, he's a big turnover guy. He's really not in the grand view. Truly,
yeah, not. I'm not gonna get mad at somebody that you're getting 3 or close to 4 turnovers a game when you have the ball for 90% of the game. It's the same way that Houston Rockets were still so successful with James Harden averaging 4 or close to 5 turnovers a game. It's simply because he's the only one handling the ball, and more times than not, if he's the only one handling the ball, he's only getting 4 or 5 turnovers, but he's still he's producing nearly like 60 to 70 points per game. I'm okay with that.
The only thing you can have against Trae is that he's not malleable enough to play off the ball. He needs it in his hands to be effective. And he's a selfish decision maker. It's not the turnovers and defense. It's the decision making and his play style that are.
I'm gonna still hold the defense. I'm still hold the defense against him because unlike the other guys, they may not like. No, unlike the other guys on the list that you may seem like bad defenders like Jamal, at least they have the body that when they show effort, they can actually be good. Like it's not like Trae, even when Trae hasn't given me any type of effort, and even when he does, he literally just can't. He just doesn't have the body to actually play any type of defense in the NBA. Like he literally just can't.
I'm not gonna deny it. At number 7, I've got Jalen Brunson. The guy is so good. Donovan Mitchell was first team All-NBA, second team. It was second team, right? Incredible accomplishment. He whooped him 2 times straight in the playoffs. Clearly the better player. As a playmaker, is more methodical than most guys. And I think his playoff performances have stamped. He's just going to keep getting better every year. At 26 years old, his contract has become one of the best in the NBA. He's got a player option at the end of it. Man, the Knicks got themselves a good one.
Yeah, I'll pick Jalen Brunson over De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron's
that's a tough one, right?
Yeah, it's a tough one for me because De'Aaron right now, the one crux in his game is the consistent 3-point jumper. If he's able to put that, he jumps up a lot of spots in that point guard ranking because there's literally nothing you can do with him on offense if he's hitting the 3 out of 38% clip. But at the end of the day, Jalen Brunson's just proven so many times in the playoffs what he can do when you rely on him. I'm not gonna say never, but I've watching that series and just watching every single person on the Knicks be absolute dog water, and the only thing keeping them above water was Jalen Brunson. He's the only one giving us problems. I'm just like, bro, can somebody get this man?
He was playing 4 and 5. They were literally giving Josh Hart the Dylan Brooks treatment, and the guy was still creating offense. How incredible is that?
Yeah, I'll give it to him over De'Aaron.
Jalen Brunson's nasty. Yeah, I didn't give my 6 though, but my 6 and 7 are kind of like interchangeable, like I'm going to say. And this is the controversial one. You guys haven't even said his name yet. I'm actually very interested to hear the reaction.
Tyrese.
No.
Who else would it be?
Number 6 is Kyrie Irving for me, and then number 7 is De'Aaron Fox. But those guys are interchangeable for me.
Oh, brother. Kyrie at 6. The guy who's done nothing in the playoffs since 2016.
Yeah.
That's the case.
Yeah. I mean,
look, a lot of the things why he hasn't done anything in the playoffs is not really a production standpoint. Is more of, being in the wrong
Where
situations.
The hell was he in that round 1 series? His best game. You want to know what he did? He said, "Oh, Jason Tatum, you want a game winner? Here, spin to the rim. Go take.
He's 6'3". Jason Tatum's 6'9", 6'10".
Trae Young's defense is it's such a
come on, John.
Kyrie is a better defender than Trae Young, dude. Kyrie is a better defender than Trae Young.
But they're both not good.
Okay, but John, the difference is Trae Young is literally a bottom 5 defender in the entire league. What, bro?
Yes,
it's not
Trae
like
Young
it's his fault.
In transition, Trae Young is the worst defender in the league.
He's barely 6 feet.
But this is very important to note. The bigger difference is my point guard being bad defensively can be covered up by the other 4 positions, which can guard 2 or 1 through 5. So I'm not going to say, oh, Kyrie's a little better defensively. It's why he's above Trae Young. No, because in the grand scheme of things, if you're a bad point guard defender, you're a bad point guard defender. The difference is covered.
No.
Kyrie's not covered by all of your teammates.
Kyrie's not even the top 10 for me. Kyrie's not even in the top 10 for me right now.
Kyrie could never lead a team to the conference finals with the best player on it, and we've seen that. They went to the conference finals without him. I'm sorry, but Trae Young is a clearly better basketball player.
We're talking skill for skill.
Oh my God! No, we're not doing that argument. I'm tired of that skill. I don't care if you can be the most skilled player in the freaking planet. If we get in the gauntlet time and time again, and you do not show up, or if your problems consistently are either keeping you out of games, or every single time when you step on the damn court.
Line and sinker. I got both of you guys. So wait, let's rewind the clock. 30, 40 minutes ago, weren't you guys the ones just saying that Kyrie and Luka could be dangerous? Could be.
Kyrie's a number 2. You just said Kyrie.
Luka is a top 4 player.
We're comparing him to number 1s. The only number 2.
Kyrie. If Jalen Brunson were on the Mavericks, I'd have more confidence and a better feel in them going to the conference finals.
I would rather have any one of these guards over him in Dallas.
This is what aggravates me. Because you believe Jamal Murray could be number 1, he's top 4. You have Kyrie at 6. He's done nothing as number 1. We've seen him as number 1 in multiple different phases of his career.
Once. You saw it once.
In Cleveland before LeBron. What were they in his first
We've seen it twice.
Nothing.
The first year with that KD in Brooklyn, he was a number 1, 2, and they were dog water at the same time.
Okay, but that team was shit with KD.
Okay,
What's team? Trae Young's team.
And that year without KD, he underwent surgery and he played like 20 games that year. To be fair to him. But we
recency bias. It's been 8 years.
It's been almost a decade. Brandon, the idea here is you believe Jamal Murray is special enough.
You like Kyrie. Just say that then.
I don't like Kyrie at all, actually. John can vouch for me here. I have not been a fan of Kyrie.
Hold up, Brandon. Do you have Kyrie above Damian Lillard?
No, I have Damian.
No.
You have Damian Lillard. Okay. Huh? But do you have him above Shea?
Yeah. Yes, he does. He hasn't said shit yet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. You know what's crazy? Is he's been harping on defense this whole time. Shea's an elite defender too, which is crazy.
Probably one of the 3 best defenders in the
harping on defense. I was just bringing up a guy who was a bottom 5 defender in the whole league.
Right, but the defense compounds though. So of course Shea has to be at the top of the list because
if Shea can give you 30 and 7, Shea can give you 30 and 7, something Kyrie has never done in his career, while giving you elite defense. And Kyrie over here is giving you 20-something on basically the same efficiency as Trae, but when it comes to playoff time, the man is dog water. It's never giving you the production that Shea is giving you in the regular season. What the hell are we doing? Literally, every single guy we've named, me and John's name, outside of Jamal Murray, is a number 1 on their team, is a number 1, and is produced as a number 1. Kyrie, the only time he's produced anything great is as a number 2. And even then, as a number 2 that when he's not a number 2 next to freaking LeBron, he hasn't produced a damn thing.
But that's not my argument, though. That wasn't my argument. I'm saying, and I did say from the beginning, you guys missed this one, that it was an interchangeable 6 and 7. With
he shouldn't even be top 10.
Why shouldn't he be top 10? Wait. How is it that you guys went from Luka and Kyrie can be dangerous to this guy's not even top 10?
Top 10 point. Because they can be dangerous because Luka's that damn good and Kyrie's. Nobody's saying Kyrie's bad. Nobody's saying Kyrie's bad.
He's in top 10, and I'm pretty sure top 10 is.
He's not bad. Putting him next to Luka would be great. But guess what? I would take any single one of these other guys next to Luka and it'd be better.
Look, I have Kyrie at number 12.
That's fine.
And a part of you want to know why? I have Garland ahead of him because he's more available. He's more durable.
I don't have Garland ahead of him.
That's the tiebreaker. The
I
fact
don't
that
have Garland. I don't have Garland ahead of
actually
him.
play in the regular season.
That's
Because
what I
those two
disagree.
guys are on the same level.
But listen, I'm just talking specifically skill for skills, and I know Romain doesn't want to hear that. I see, like I heard his breath. I closed my eyes and I literally heard his breath go. I know you don't want to hear it.
I hate that. I hate the skill argument
Okay.
so much.
Since I am angry,
I hate it
and
so
I knew
much.
that this was going to trigger you guys. We can number 7 is De'Aaron Fox that I said was interchangeable. And maybe this guys will make you a little bit more happier talking about De'Aaron Fox now. Okay, De'Aaron Fox impressed the hell out of me this year. He proved a lot of people wrong. He was a number 1. I agree with you. That's why I said it's interchangeable. I could easily take him number 6. I do believe in this kid's talent. I do believe that this guy is going to – I think he could actually get a little bit better, especially shooting the ball from the three-point line. His mid-range looked unstoppable against Golden State, which was, I think, a big shocker to
Honestly,
me.
I think he had a good shot of putting him down if he didn't hurt his hand. He had
That's
a
what I'm
good shot
saying.
of putting him down.
Especially in the game-winning shot where it looked like the hand injury hampered him and he didn't feel comfortable taking that contested a shot.
Yeah, because he was giving them boys hell them first 6 games.
It was a sight to behold because you were just like, oh, Golden State's going to finally overcome them. But this guy just kept coming.
I was watching. I was looking at his box score numbers. I'm like, it did not feel like he went 12 for 26. It looked like he could not freaking miss out there. That's that type of impact that just lets you know how good a guy is. Because to go 12 for 26 and feel like you are overwhelming force in that game is some Kobe level shit. Like that,
he was balling, especially with his guy Domantas Sabonis not even be able to make
garbage. I never want to hear him and Bam in the same conversation. Garbage.
Another player I was right about.
But not my number 8 would be Trae Young. This is where I get to Trae Young.
That's where I get. That's where I have Trae. That's why I have Trae too.
8, 9, and 10. 8, 9, and 10. Again, I'm going to stay again off the bat. 8, 9, and 10 are kind of interchangeable for me.
Not for me. 8 is where I cut off the elite point guard. And when this is where I get into the really good guys,
like the high level guys, maybe an all-star. So 8 for me was De'Aaron Fox. I had Jalen Brunson slightly above because De'Aaron Fox shot 51% from mid-range this year, but in the years before he wasn't close to that level. He was like 44%. If De'Aaron sustains that level of mid-range shot making, he's going to be above a lot of these guys. He could even surpass Trae, who I have at 6. But I want to see him do it one more year from a shooting perspective. Then at number 9, I've got Jamal Murray. I think he is in the top 10. And it's not that it's crazy to say that. I just think you have to establish yourself as a true number 1, the way a Ja, a Dame, and SGA have and surely will continue to do. And then at number 10, I've got
okay, wait. Before that, John. If that's the case, if those number 1s don't produce and Jamal and Jokic continue to make deep playoff runs, or Jamal continually do what he does that not moving up those rankings in a sense? Because the guys that aren't producing as a number 1 aren't winning as a number 1. That would make them a number 2.
Okay, it would move Jamal Murray from 9 to like 6 for me. But if he is the best number 2 in the league, like think of it this way. Well, it's a bad example because Klay Thompson was the second best shooting.
I got a great example.
But you're not going to surpass the number 1 until you do it yourself. Until then, you'll be the best number 2 that's better than someone's, but you're not better than the ones who have went far and have accomplished a lot.
Fair.
Okay, but here's what I want to – and this is not a great comparison either. It's an okay comparison. Because and I know, like, we weren't around – I was alive, but I was a baby, John. Was about to be born. Shaq and Kobe, where Shaq was the 1 and Kobe was coming up, and he was a number 2. Would you say, like, and just like Romain said, if they keep winning and Jamal Murray keeps producing like he's doing, which is special and elite, like, I feel like you might be missing out. And I'm not saying like, they might break up and then Jamal proves that he can be it, but I'm just saying that that's kind of it. And I've said this is a comparison I've made between Shaq and Kobe, not in the same way, but you know what I mean?
It's different for Shaq and Kobe sometimes for me, because outside of 01, where Shaq was so clear. Well, no, outside of 2000, where Shaq was so clear and wide the best player on that team, they were 1A, 1B type thing. In Denver, it's a clear 1 and 2 type thing versus Shaq and Kobe, where it's just year after year, the gap just got smaller and smaller to the point where at 2004, it was Kobe over Shaq at that point.
That's fair.
Actually, not even then. I think Shaq was still a little bit better at that point, but it was just the gap was just way smaller than this for Jokic and Murray.
To your credit, Brandon, Jamal Murray, this says he could surpass Dame because Dame is going to be 34 years old one day. And Jamal just missed the last 2 years, last year and a half, last 2 playoff runs. If he can continue to build off of this, then hell yeah, he can get into the top 5. But I still don't think like 2001 Kobe, the guy that averaged like 30 points per game in that postseason run, that is still another level above Jamal, because I feel like with Murray, like Romain pointed out, you understand his role in Denver, and that is what's perfect for his skill set. You're not asking Jamal to do anything more than what he's already so capable of. It's his exact strengths, which is his exact role. And so you see the best versions of him highlighted. But in the regular season, when Jokic was off the floor, the Nuggets struggle when Jamal Murray at times was running the second unit. And you would be like, well, if he was clearly this capable number one, he would be dominating in those stretches with reserves playing alongside him. But until he gets to that level, I don't think he'd be higher than 4 for me.
Fair. Fair.
Number 10, I had Tyrese Halliburton, and it took us 34 minutes to get here. How nice.
Tyrese.
Yeah, I got. It's between Tyrese and Kyrie for me at that level, and I think I'll go Kyrie. I go Kyrie over Tyrese in that sense for me, because Kyrie, at least in this sense, Kyrie's proven something, while Tyrese is young and very, very good, and he hasn't had a roster to prove it. But by saying that, I don't think I can say that you're better than somebody that's proved something when you're giving me 20 and 10 on a roster that also, when you're also hasn't proven anything at the same time too.
Yeah.
I think I'll give Kyrie the nod in that sense, but it's not much. I think Tyrese, after another year, especially if Indiana gets better and they make the playoffs, I think I'll put him over him. But I for this scenario, I'll give Kyrie the nod.
Where do the Pacers rank among the teams in the NBA?
Bottom 20.
So like bottom 10, like 24th, right?
Yeah.
In the 56 games Tyrese Halliburton played, that 25th best team in the league was 28 and 28. In the 28 games he missed, that terrible team was 7 and 19.
So they went from 20 to 15, John.
Way higher floor raiser than way higher floor raiser than Kyrie Irving.
Okay.
I think his skill set as a selfless, he's basically LaMelo Ball, but he's a more developed decision maker, a little bit better defensively.
Way better finisher.
And on top of that,
way better finisher.
Better finisher too. He shot 66% at the rim, where LaMelo really struggles. And so if you're high on LaMelo, I think because Tyrese is more developed right now, you've got to have him in this discussion. I just think the availability, he missed 28 games, is still better than Irving too.
Wait, he shot 60. He shot 60. Check. What is the percentage? I think his percentage from floater range is even better too. To be honest,
he's got a wonderful floater game, and this the short mid range stuff and the mid range shots too. He shot like close to 50% as well. So you consider his versatility as a 3-point shooter, where in every year of his career he shot 40% from downtown. His ability to be scalable off the ball and the decision making. He's the perfect number 2. And in a point guard position where it's so rare you find yourself a number 1 championship team. The only one is really Steph Curry. We don't even know if Luka can truly lead a team yet, because we want to see it after this embarrassing year. Year. Tyrese would be Tyrese. The point here doesn't really matter that much. Tyrese would be the perfect number 2 for any team in the league because of how scalable his skill set is, and he's the perfect teammate. One of the best players and one of the best people in the league.
Yeah.
I'll agree with you on that end. It's just that when you go from being when you're bottom 10 without Tyrese, but then you're 15 with Tyrese, I don't know how much that moves me in that sense. And with Tyrese, at the end of the day, when you compare it to Kyrie, is that Tyrese may be a more elite decision maker, but overall as a scorer and a shot creator, I'll take Kyrie. And a number 2. In a number 2, when if you're gonna put him in Dallas or something like that, I would want Kyrie's skill set more than I want Tyrese, in a sense that you still get a certain level of playmaking and decision making with Kyrie that's still good, while also getting a way more elite shot creator in that sense versus Tyrese.
Okay.
Versus Tyrese, who's a better decision maker that would more fit a main ball handler role.
Look at that, Roman, defending Kyrie Irving.
But you know what? I would rather a versatile 21 and 10 player than a versatile 21 and 5 player. And by the way, Kyrie's
a 25. Kyrie's like a 25, 26 and 5 player. Come on.
Yeah, come on now.
Oh, you're kind of rebounding?
No, I'm talking about Kyrie, 25, 26 points per game. What are we doing?
Oh, I thought you said like 25, 5, and 5.
No,
I'm like rebounding, and
Kyrie.
I'm sorry, I don't care about my point guard rebounding. Usually, like if he gets 6 rebounds, that's cool. That's nice. I'd rather him just be an incredible shooter, which Halliburton is. He's a better shooter than
Kyrie.
When you look at Tyrese's shot profile, from mid-range, he's not better than Kyrie. Like, we can all agree there. From 3-point
100%.
range, this guy is special. He has never shot below 40%, and that's on tough shots.
But you
a
know
lot
what?
of which are pull-ups.
You know what I'm
He's
loving
a
though,
great
John.
catch-and-shoot player, and a lot of these are as the focal point of the offense, where he's getting the toughest assignment.
But
He's
John,
a great off-ball player.
You know what I love about today's NBA though? In the past 15 years, these are the first 2 back-to-back years where the average 2-pointer is worth more than the average 3. The NBA is getting back to that place again. No, it is 1.85 to 1.93. Like
kind of
no,
like
1.98.
Huh? Nice. It's kind of like football. Rushing is going up now, so I like to hear that. It's really cool.
1.98. So right now, your overall shot profile needs to work. And while Tyrese is shooting 44, something very high percentage from high clip, I would take the overall more well-rounded scorer in Kyrie. And in a again, I think Kyrie's skill set just matches what I want from a number 2 more than Tyrese. But Tyrese
shoots 47% from mid-range, by the way. 47%.
That's better than I thought it would be. But overall, either way, it's one spot. It's 10 and 11, bro. I'm not gonna harp too much on it. It's 10 and 11. It's one spot.
So let me finish on my list. My 9 and 10, again, interchangeable 8 through 10, is Jalen Brunson and then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
I'm not even gonna argue. We've been on this topic for way too long. I'm gonna just let it be. We already argued enough about Shai. I'm gonna just let it be.